So we just got to stick to the basketball part and do that as well as we possibly can. I think I've learned a lot about my team over these first 9 games. Um, I clearly didn't have as good a handle on them as I should have back at the start of training camp. And I wish I had, because now, like we're trying to change and adjust some things with very little practice time. But I can't do anything about that now. Like I think I made some early mistakes in some of the things we did that we've had to adjust, and we'll move forward from there. And, um, you know, I can wish I had that time back, but I don't. So we just got to get better from here.
So, super quick follow up. Is it a little bit like, is it fair to compare what you guys are going through to like when you're at a small college and everybody's kind of together and all you do is go to empty gyms and, eat together as a team? I mean, it's kind of got to be weird for these guys to go through stuff like that compared to, when you were coaching in a smaller.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's even stranger than that because, even in the arenas where people can go to the games, they can't see you afterwards. Like there's no meeting place to see people. I mean, it's different, man. NBA players, this is not an easy year for any of them. We're in the same boat as everybody else, though. So I'm not saying that as an excuse. I mean, we're in the same boat as everybody else, but I think that, the players, this is difficult for them, and I empathize with them, and very few people will empathize with them. I think that's one thing when you're a pro athlete and you make a lot of money, people aren't prone to empathizing with you because of the money you make, but it doesn't make the emotional part of it any less real.
Coach, this is David Grubb from the Bird Rights. To go to the on-court things against the Mavericks, they certainly have picked up their pace offensively the last few games. Luka Doncic has been playing exceptionally well, and they've also gotten a lot of contributions from their guards. How are you going to challenge Doncic and then keep them from keeping up that offensive pace that they've been showing the last 4 or 5 games?
Okay, I got it, David. We could barely hear you here, but I think I got it. About their pace and Doncic and their guards. I mean, look, that's a great perimeter. I mean, they certainly were hitting on all cylinders last night with with Luca and Tim Jr. and Trey Burke. I mean, they had it rolling. They were making a lot of shots, and look, I mean, we've just it'll be another defensive challenge, and there'll be a lot of them on this trip, and we've just got to step up and do the things we do. I mean, the disappointing part of our defense to me has not been, people making shots against us and stuff. It's not doing the things that we should be able to take care of. It's the fast break points we gave up in the Oklahoma City game. It's the second chance points we gave up in the Charlotte game. Those things are things we should be able to take away. We should be able to do a pretty good job keeping the ball out of the paint. We should be able to rebound. We don't have to send people to the free throw line. We can get back defensively. If you do those things consistently well, then you'll give yourself a chance. They're going to be hard to guard. I get that. So you've got to take care of the things that you can control.
Coach, quickly, does that waning of intensity on the defensive end, has that affected the offense? Because it seemed that there were times last game where you could be clearly heard telling your team to get some tempo, to get across the half court line. Have those things on defense carried over to the attitude on offense?
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, the thing is, what's interesting, and I think our players have to understand is, I really haven't checked it since yesterday, but our offense in the last 4 games has gone up. I mean, we're in the top half of the league offensively. So our offense has gone up, but our defense has dropped. So our record was better when our defense was great and our offense was awful. If we could put the two together, if we could defend at the level we were defended at early in the year and just keep our offense even where it is now, and I think it can get a lot better, we've got a formula for being pretty good. But we're just not. I mean, I'm being honest with my team, and you guys and the fans and everything else. I mean, if we're going to be a bottom 10 defensive team, which is where we've been in the last 4 games, then we're not going to be very good. We're just not going to be very good. That's we will not score enough points to overcome the defense we've played in the last 4 games. So I think our offense is getting better. That's a good thing. Let's get our defense back and move forward.
Hey, Stan, Christian Clark, just one more time. Going back to what you just told Scott, what are some of the things you've learned about your team in training camp and in 9 games that is just very difficult to pick up on studying them from afar?
Yeah, well, here's what here's the biggest thing, Christian. I think that this 9 game stretch has shown me is, and then if you go back to training camp, so in training camp, I learned that our team works hard and is talented and very coachable, and they put a lot into it in training camp, and we came out playing pretty good defense. What I've learned in the 9 games, particularly over the last 4, is we haven't worked long enough to ingrain those habits, and that we've got to continue doing that, that we can't play a good 5 game stretch defensively and think like, okay, we understand this. It has to be repeated every day, and we have to keep going after it. So I think we're capable of being really, really good defensively. I do. I know we can be great rebounding the ball, though we weren't in the Charlotte game. I think we can do those 2 things. I think we have to do those 2 things. And then, our challenges are still taking care of the ball. And part of that is our spacing and organization offensively. So today's practice was focused, on the defensive end of the floor and on offensive organization and spacing. That's what we worked on today, and hopefully we'll show some improvement on and continue to work on as we go forward.
Hey, Coach, this is Will again. I think it's fair to say that Lonzo is playing a little bit of a different role than what he was asked to do last year on both ends of the court. Just what do you think about just what he's done to adjust to what you're asking him to do, and what do you think it's going to take for him just to show a little bit more consistency on both sides of the court?
Look, I mean, defensively, I think he's got a chance to be great. I just think he's got to apply more pressure to people. Like, he doesn't get beat a lot. He's active with his hands. He's really, really smart. I would just like to see him apply some pressure on people the way people do on him. Offensively, he's a great, great passer, great court vision. I think keeping us more organized and, getting us into sets. And then I think off the ball, I think part of his shooting problems are, I tried to talk to him about the difference between when he's on the ball, handling the ball. Okay, he's a pass first guy as a point guard, which I think makes him somebody that everybody wants to play with. But when he's off the ball and say Brandon's handling or Bledsoe's handling or whatever, he's got to be shoot first. So when the ball comes to him, his first thought is to shoot it in rhythm. What I see is he's catching the ball, still thinking pass, giving his guy a chance to close. Now he's shooting all those shots off the dribble instead of in rhythm off the catch. That's the other thing we'd like him to do is be ready to shoot the ball off the ball, be a shoot first guy when other people are making plays to him.
All right. Thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Hey, Alonzo, Christian Clark with NOLA.com. This road trip, I mean, 7 games, you guys can be on the road for, close to 2 weeks. I mean, how are you just mentally preparing to go through, what, just a really difficult trip?
Just taking one game at a time. We know it's early in the season, but we kind of hit a little bit of a downfall these last 3 games. So just look to turn it around on this road trip and, play every game like it's our last pretty much.
What's up, Zo? This is Will from The Athletic. How different is your role compared right now in Stan's system compared to what you were doing last year in Alvin's system? And what's been the biggest adjustment for you just figuring out, how to be effective?
I just think we have a new team. So we have a different dynamic to our team. Obviously, guys are still trying to figure out, their spots on the offensive floor and getting into rhythm. But for me, I think it's just trying to get in transition more, do the things I can help the basketball team with doing, which is playing faster, probably getting to the ball more, try to help rebound more, and just get the pace up. That's the things I need to focus on, going into this road trip.
Alonzo, it's Andrew from ESPN. Stan was saying how one of the things he'd like to see you to do more is to think, shoot first in those catch and shoot situations. Sometimes when either BI setting up the offense or Bled or somebody else. How's that adjustment for you to have to think, shoot first instead of trying to make the play for others?
Yeah, I mean, when we get in half court, I'm playing more like a shooting guard. So, when I'm open and the ball gets swung to me, just like Coach Stan said, I got to be ready to shoot it and, knock it down, especially because defense is the key, Zion and B got a lot more pick and rolls that are getting trapped. So, those swings are open. I just got to be ready to shoot and knock them down.
Alonzo, this is David Grubb with the Bird Rights. Can you talk about the last few games defensively? You guys were such a high to start the season, but these last few games, you've just it seems like that's been the biggest problem for you guys. How do you start locking back in? And is it difficult when you have such a short bench at times to get consistent rotations defensively?
I mean, early in the year we had training camp, so we was drilling it every day. Obviously, you can't practice like the way we was practicing, during the year just because we play a game, pretty much every other day. So for us, it's just about, looking at the film and just being in the right spots at the right time. I think a lot of our rotations right now are, we're kind of unsure what we were doing, not moving as fast as we can because of that. We're giving up, easy shots and easy threes and stuff. So for us, I think it's just about, defense is just all about effort. So we just got to play harder. I think, we know where we're going. We see what's going on the film now. It's just about executing.
Hey, Christian Clark again. Stan has said a couple of times, like he's just really confident that somewhere in here there is a really good defensive team. I mean, when you just look at the personnel, I mean, what kind of, I guess, defensive talent do you think is here?
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to be a top 10 defensive team in the league. We think we can do that. We proved early in the year that we can guard. It's just about going out there and doing it every night at this point.
Yeah, so this is Will again. One thing Stan's talked about a lot as well are turnovers, and he's kind of pointed that a lot as something that's been a problem throughout the season. Just from what you've seen in film, what do you think is the biggest issue you guys can fix as far as getting the turnovers under control?
I think a lot of turnovers are just careless. It's not really thinking about the things we're doing. I think sometimes we just throw the ball, just to throw it, or we're not moving fast enough to our spot, so we get a turnover. So a lot of things, I think if we just stay down, execute the offense better, it'll be better.
All right, Zoe, appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Hey, Brandon, Christian Clark here at Null.com. In your time in the NBA, have you ever had a 7-game road trip? Is this the longest one?
Yeah, maybe last year, maybe the year before last. Yeah, I've had a 7-game road trip before. Yes.
And just, how are you mentally preparing to be on the road for 2 weeks, under these circumstances?
I mean, it's the same for me. It's just basketball. Everything that I do every single day, just going into a gym, being in a hotel, being same thing as being at home and just going to the gym. So I'm mentally prepared. I'm physically prepared for it, and just ready to play these games.
Hey, it's Andrew from ESPN. Stan told us that you two had a very long conversation following the game the other night. Can you just share a little bit about what you guys talked about in terms of trying to get this team back on the right track?
Just talking about different ways that we can be better, offensively and defensively. The mindset of coming into games, the mindset of closing games, just different things that we can do to help our team be better. That was a conversation.
Hey, yeah, this is Will from The Athletic. Stan also mentioned that part of that convo was defensively trying to get back to where you guys were early in the season. Just what do you think is missing right now as far as just what you guys want to do consistently on the defensive end?
I think you just said it, just being consistent with it, being consistent, making sure that that it's important to us every single possession that we have to get a stop on the defensive end, knowing that the games that we just lost are just coming down to us getting 2 or 3 more stops or 4 more stops, and we just winning by 2 or 3 points. So just the sense of urgency that we have to have on the defensive end each possession.
And this is David Grubb from the Bird Rights. Certainly, Dallas presents a really strong challenge for you guys defensively, but on both ends of the court. How big of a challenge are they for you? And then just mentally, for somebody who's as competitive as you are, coming in, trying to snap this losing streak. How angry are you? How frustrated are you with yourself, or just how are you and just relaying to your teammates, hey, we got to get back on track as a leader?
Well, we know that Dallas is a very, very talented team. Can shoot the basketball, and we just have to be us. We have to have our coverages be the best on the first night. Of course, for the first game of the road trip, we have to keep the tone and the standard for ourselves that this is how we're going to play on this road trip. I'm as everybody else is uncomfortable right now. Uncomfortable with us being 4-5, and we know how good we are, but we have to bring the effort and the consistency every single night. So that's what's talked about when we come and we meet with coach and everything else. I think me being a leader, I just try to lead by example. Come in, I try to self-assess myself before I say something to anybody else. Say what can I do better, and hopefully it trickles down to everybody else and they just come along with me. Of course, I've gotten more vocal, but we need kind of everybody. When everybody talks and when everybody communicates, our team is a whole lot better. When everybody is accountable for themselves, our team is a whole lot better. So I'm accountable for myself, and I look forward to my teammates being accountable for themselves so we can be a better group.
Hey, Christian Clark here again with Null.com. Stan has said throughout these 9 games that, he knows there's a good defensive team in here. What do you just think about, the defensive personnel and the pieces and the talent that you have on that end?
We all have talent. It's always mentioned about our talent. Now it's just time to put our plan to action. Everything that we talk about, we just need to come out and do it. Take the thinking out, take everything out, and just come play basketball.
Hey, Brandon, this is Ollie with the Bird Rights. I know you just talked about wanting to be a bigger leader, asserting yourself more to the guys, but is there anything on the court you would like to add? Like, for instance, Lonzo just got done telling us he wants to try and increase the Pelicans' transition game, get into the ball defensively more and grab more rebounds. Is there anything you're personally seeking on basically upping in your game?
Personally, individually, for myself?
Yes.
Just to bust everybody ass. everybody in front of me, just to kill everybody that's in front of me, and just make sure that I don't let nobody off the hook every single night. That's all.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Bi.